Hello friends. Today we will learn about immune system. So let's begin with introduction. The term immunity, its Latin name is immunis, that means exempt, is derived from its earlier usage referring to exemption from military services or paying taxes. It has long recognized that those who recovered from epidemic diseases such as smallpox and plague were exempt from further attacks, and such immune individuals were often used in an epidemic to nurse those sufferings from active disease. The immunity can be defined as the resistance exhibited by host towards injury caused by microorganisms and their products. Protection against infectious diseases is only one of the consequences of the immune responses, which is entirely concerned with the reaction of the body against any foreign antigen. The study of the study immune response when introduced into the study of the immune system constitutes the discipline of immunology. Our environment contains a great variety of infectious microbes, viruses, bacteria, fungi, protozoa, and multicellular parasites. These can cause disease, and if they multiply unchecked, they will eventually kill their host. Most infections in normal individuals are short lived and leave little permanent damage. This is due to the immune system, which combats infectious agents. The vertebrate immune system is a vast network of molecules and cells having a single goal, a distinguish between self and non self. Its primary function is to protect vertebrates against microorganisms, viruses, bacteria, and parasites. It continuously scans countless numbers of molecular units to to decide which ones are foreign and initiate their destruction. The immune system learns from experience and remembers its encounters. Its hallmarks are specificity, adaptation, and memory. Immunology is depending Immunology is deepening our understanding of disease processes and providing new diagnostic and therapeutic approaches. Monoclonal antibodies, for example, serve as highly specific detectors of pathogenic microorganisms, tissue damage, and cancer. Many chronic diseases are likely to be autoimmune disorders in which the immune system turns against self. Immunology is also providing insight into how cell development is triggered and how cells stimulate and suppress one another. The proteins and genes mediating these interactions are being identified and mapped, and their molecular architecture is coming into view. It is a time of ferment and excitement because microorganisms come in many different forms. A wide variety of immune responses are required to deal with each type of infection. In the first instance, the exterior defenses of the body present an effective barrier to most organisms, and very few infectious agents can penetrate intact skin. However, many gain accessories across the epithelia of the gastrointestinal tract and urogenital tract. Others can infect the nasopharynx and lungs. A small number, such as malaria and hepatitis B, can only infect the body if they enter the blood directly. The site of infection and the type of pathogen largely determine which immune responses will be effective. The most important distinction is between pathogens which invade the host cells and those which do not, and all viruses some bacteria and some protozoans, parasites, replicate inside host cells, and to clear an infection, the immune system must recognize and destroy these infected cells. Many bacteria and larger parasites live in tissues, body fluids, or other extracellular species, and the responses to those pathogens are quite different. During the course of an infection, however, even intracellular pathogens must reach their target cells by moving through the blood and tissue fluid. At this time, they are susceptible to elements of the immune system which normally counter extracellular pathogens. Now let's know about the types of immunity. Immunity against infectious diseases falls into two categories, that is innate or native immunity, another is acquired or adaptive immunity. Let's know about this too. Let's know about the characteristics and cells molecules. First, I'll tell about characteristics, then cells and molecules. Natural immunity. What do you mean by natural immunity? It responds rapidly, has some specificity, that is, phagocytes are the cells, PMNS and macrophages. The molecules is cytokines. No memory, that means natural killer cells, mast cells, dendritic cells, that is complement acute phase proteins. Next is second type is adaptive immunity, that is slow to start, highly specific memory, that is T and B cells. Cells are T and B cells. And next is molecules, antibodies, cytokines. Now let's know about briefly about innate immunity. It is the resistance to infections which an individual possesses very virtue of his genetic and constitutional makeup. It does not depend on prior contact with microorganisms or immunization. It may be non-specific when it indicates a degree of resistance to infections in general or specific. When resistance to a particular pathogen is concerned, innate immunity is present at birth and changes life throughout the life of the individual. The cells and molecules of this innate system are mainly responsible for the first stages of expulsion of the microbe and may give rise to inflammation. Now let's know about the phagocytes. Phagocytes are important cells in the innate immune system, and since they ingest and kill microbes. Now let's know about the determinants of innate immunity. The main determinant of innate immunity are genetically controlled, varying widely with species and strain to lesser extent between individuals. Age, sex, and hormone balance play lesser roles.